For firms just starting out with automations, what are some of the first processes that they could possibly automate? Like, it's our buzzword now. It's what people could think about, but oftentimes we get in and we're like, "Oh my gosh, we need to automate all of these things. We need to be all
Mhm.
these places at all of these times." Where could they maybe start more manageable pieces to get their head around? Where do they start with automation?
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize that automation is a journey, and there's just really no end. From this point forward, for the rest of your career in staffing and recruiting, you will be automating more and more and more facets of the business. If you think about the biggest staffing firms in the world, today they're currently running, let's say, 500 or more automations or bots. And by the year 2030, I think the typical staffing or recruiting firm will easily be at that level where they're running 500 or more bots. So
Yeah.
when you think about it, how do you get to 500 bots or automations today? Um, that's 7 years from now. When you work through the math, that means you're going to have to be doing about 75 automations per year. That's about 1.5 automations a week to get to 500. Now, maybe you start at one, and maybe over time that accelerates, but it's a commitment. And when I work with clients and do strategy sessions, um, we'll quickly come up with 50, 100, 150 different ideas for automating, but you can't do all of those at once. We just don't have the bandwidth to do that. So we want to build the sort of the expertise within our business to be able to prioritize automations. And so we want to look at that from a lot of different points of view. Um, what kind of time savings are we likely to realize? What's the financial impact? What's the strategic value? How is this going to positively impact our clients? How will this impact our ability to source candidates more efficiently? How will this support us on the retention side? Will this enable us to retain employees longer and improve revenue streams that way? So there's a lot of considerations that go into prioritizing. So if you have ideas for 150 different automations, I know it takes time, but somehow we have to prioritize them and figure out what's the first one we're going to do, the second one, the third one, and build a backlog of ideas.